Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank all of you for the work you've done on this commission. I know a couple of your key changes and reforms that you pointed out. One was to be able to incorporate continuous planning and analysis into compiling the guidance. I like that. I also like where you're looking at making sure that you change the budget structure so that military programs, they're all listed in the same part of the budget, because it's really difficult to look through the entire Department of Defense budget to figure out what a certain program's cost is going to be. Ms. Lord, the report highlighted the importance of aligning the budget request with an overall strategy, but it also underscored the difficulty in achieving the symmetry under the current PPBE process. Can you explain to this committee what the importance is in being able to rectify that gap so that the department's able to react and be in a good position to compete against a technologically advanced adversary like China?
Absolutely. We begin with deconstructing the National Defense Strategy into a new guidance document that is much clearer about what should be done and what should stop being done. We then start much earlier in the...
I'm going to interrupt you here. Do you have specific recommendations on
if
to stop? What page was...
we will go back and look at that, but the
If you could
overall
let us know,
process,
yeah.
we can show you where we talk about clarity. We
Yeah.
discuss at some length perhaps the opportunities to change the defense planning guidance, and we give it a new name and ask for a lot more specificity. So we can get back to you with the pages on that. But that begins with articulating clear direction so that we don't have different military services and agencies going and building budgets according to their interpretation of what is being asked to be done, and only find out 8 months later that their interpretation was different than senior leadership. Secondly, we begin this analysis cycle earlier, and we want to make sure that we leverage force structure, materiel, services all together in wargaming, tabletop exercises, and what-if scenarios. That requires data being in a central repository or able to be pulled out to do modern data analytics so that you can run, hundreds of what-if scenarios to optimize, if you will, force structure, the number of ships, the number of planes, all these different things. So the idea is to get in there and do many, many more what-if scenarios earlier so that when this is communicated clearly to Congress and you ask questions, there's data-driven answers to come back to justify why a certain pathway was taken.
Thank you. Secretary Hale, do you have anything to add?
No, I think Ellen did a good job. One of the problems, and I will add one thought, in the past years, one of the problems with this defense planning guidance, which is the current document that's used to give instructions to the services on how to build budgets, one of the problems has been a kind of consensus document. It gets sent around for coordination. The services realize they want to get the right words in there so they can justify their programs. One of the changes we would make is more use of senior leader meetings in December and January, probably at this DMAG presided over typically by the Deputy Secretary. The Deputy Secretary and the Secretary need to hear from the services about their thoughts on strategy, but they also need to formulate what strategy they want the department to follow, and it may not be a consensus strategy. So we think a more use of these DMAG senior level meetings would help produce more definitive guidance, and if we do them in December and January, an on-time definitive guidance.
Thank you. Secretary Lord, when I mentioned just the continuous analysis that needs to happen here, I think the department has a risk-adverse culture. So how's that going to play?
We believe that leadership is incredibly instrumental in setting culture and that there need to be motivations and rewards for taking smart risks. We often treat risk in terms of risk elimination versus risk management. We believe we need to take smart risks, and what we're doing is trying to delegate down to the PEOs and the PMs who are closest to the problem, make smart decisions with how to spend money to really come up with something that's of utility for the warfighter.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.